Nerds!
Nerds.
Dear subscribers, so I want to start off by saying a big, big thank you to both of you. We just have two subscribers at the moment. We know who one of you are, Lars Descenza, because we actually asked you to be our first subscriber. So Lars, thank you very much. When we transitioned from the monthly support model to the subscription model, Lars was already supporting us monthly, so we asked him if he could be our first subscriber, and he very graciously agreed. And to the other subscriber, we don't know who you are yet, and we don't need to know. If you want to stay anonymous, that's totally fine. But regardless, thank you very much for your continued support. And following on top of that, we want to apologize, mostly me, because I'm the showrunner, the producer here. So I've kind of dropped the ball on our bonus episodes. I know we promised 2 a month, and we are definitely behind the 8 ball on that. So we want to try to get caught up, at least to get to where we're giving you 2 a month now. I don't know if we'll get fully caught up from the back issues, but we definitely want to get in the habit of giving you 2 a month, just like we said we would. Which, by the way, this is totally not Will's fault. I kind of committed to that without talking to Will about it first, which is my bad. I should have talked to Will first. So some of them you might get just me, or we might get another random guest. You never know.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're definitely going to try to drop an extra 2, just like we said we would for our subscribers. so guys, this one, it's not, it is a nerd relevant topic for sure, but this is not really going to be about nerdy pop culture per se. This will be more along the lines of kind of what Will and I used to do when we would start our episodes back when Will first came on as co-host, some of our early days. We would talk for 10, 15, sometimes 20 minutes just about what's going on in our life. We would get into some nerdy stuff like, hey, what are you reading? What are you watching? And we eventually integrated that a little bit more into the normal episode. But we haven't done as much of the informal talking, just about life and stuff and other topics. So this is going to be a little bit more like that. Kind of our main theme for this episode is mental health. It's something obviously that's relevant to all of us, I think. But something I've noticed just in myself, and I think to some degree in like nerd and geek culture as well. It's a struggle sometimes. I think there does
Oh yeah.
seem to be, and it's possible I'm reading into this, but just over the years, it does seem like depression is somewhat of a common theme amongst the nerd community, at least the people that I've interacted with, and obviously myself and Will have both wrestled with that. We've talked about that a little bit from time to time on the podcast. I've noticed issues with eating habits and weight are a struggle for a lot of us as well, which that's certainly not unique to the nerd community. But yeah, I know, speaking for myself, and I assume you probably agree, Will, you and I could both would like to be in better shape than we are.
Oh yeah.
I don't know too
I'm,
many people in my life who wouldn't.
I'm currently on a diet of some kind.
Yeah, and I've got one. I've got a nutrition plan. I actually paid for it too. I've got a nutrition plan that's supposedly tailored to my body type, and I've got an exercise plan to go along with that. And back when I did actually stick with it for like 12 weeks, it was working. And I injured myself, and I just kind of have gotten off the 8 ball. And so like, yeah, so many of those things play a factor in mental health, though, like fitness, diet, sleeping habits, um, and including viewing habits, actually. So I'd kind of like to hit on all those at different points tonight, Will. But before we
Yeah.
jump into that, man, like, how you doing, man? How you doing today? How's life at the Boyer household?
Well, and I think that our fellow nerds would agree that sleeping habits is probably not something that we nerds have down pat. But I'm doing well. I'm staying up late though, sleeping in the mornings. Struggling with some depression myself. I seem to be doing okay right now though.
That's good. It's a good day in general today.
Yeah, I mean, not a great day, but it's been a good day. I, yep.
Cool. Um, yeah, I think sleep is definitely, I'm realizing it more and more. Like intellectually, obviously, I've known it for a long time, but the older I get, the more I am realizing the value of good rest. Like just how much of a difference it makes. I was watching a TED talk a few months ago, I think, about sleep, and the gentleman who was giving the talk is a sleep researcher, and he said that just just one night of bad sleep, like say you get only 4 hours one night, like
Yeah.
quite literally affects your brain's ability to make new memories the next day. Like one night. Now he didn't give us percentage, like how much does it affect it, but just the fact that it it lowers your brain's ability to make and store new memories, which means you're not able to learn as well. You know, your recall goes down, like any events that happen that day, or skills you're trying to hone or learn, a book you read, whatever it might be. Your recall is not going to be as good because you only got 4 hours of sleep the night before. I was like,
Right.
well, I was like, wow, I didn't realize the deleterious effects could happen that quickly. I don't know. Have you ever done any research on sleep yourself, like just looking into like different sleep studies or things like that?
Um, I haven't studied it too much. It's mostly from personal experience. Um, I was looking up some stuff here on my computer. I'm having computer problems. Um,
Yeah, we have old computers. Like mine has a hard problem running Zoom, and if I have a couple browser tabs open at the same time, it has issues and it slows down. So it's not that old. I mean, it's like maybe 6 years old, but I guess I guess that's enough. It's probably because it's a PC as well. I don't think I had any significant issues with my MacBook back when I had one.
ah!
Yeah, this is our third host. Holding my daughter here, trying to get her to go to sleep. Hey, kiddo, it's okay. I got you. She's tired. Speaking of sleep, oh, it's okay. I got you. I got you. That is definitely something I will say for those of us nerds who have kids. It definitely has an impact on your sleep.
Oh yeah,
there's some nights where our
I, would,
kids
I wouldn't know, but
um there's some nights where they wake us up 4 or 5 times a night, and Laura and I, my wife, like we try to take turns, as much as we can. Um, like when there's breastfeeding involved, which has been most of the last 6 years, that's not always possible. Like we'll do it as much as we can. Like I'll get up and grab the baby, and then she will feed the baby, and then I might put the baby back to bed, or just we try to tag team it. But it's still inevitably we both typically wake up when it happens, and it's just
I was about to say, Richard, you've been breastfeeding.
no, no. Uh,
You
isn't it
lactate
isn't
nurses.
it interesting though um that men, it's like a vestigial, like why do we have nipples? You know what I mean? Like this is a very serious scientific question. Like why do men have nipples? What's the point?
I don't know. I heard a rumor once that supposedly if something happened to the mother, the men would start lactating, but find that scientifically improbable.
Yeah, like not too many. I mean, I'm talking about obviously your typical cisgendered male. You're not born with mammary glands, like you do have nipples. Um, but there are some people, I guess, in the intersex community who might, maybe they have all the normal reproductive organs that a male would have, but then you might have some mammary glands, um so I have heard stories of some, like, men, or I guess to be more precise nowadays, intersex, like being able to lactate a little bit, but it's obviously not to the extent that a cisgendered female was born with the full package, as you might say, would be able to. But it is weird. Like, I have heard that it might be like somebody theorized that the reason men have nipples is that all babies start out as female, and then you have that chromosomal change at some point in development where the decision, so to speak, is made. You either grow up to be a male or female, in the traditional biological sense. Like, so some people speculate like maybe the DNA or something for the nipple is already in there, and for some reason that doesn't change. Who knows? Because you don't see that with other mammals so much. I don't think. I'm trying to think. I don't think male dogs have vestigial nipples, but male primates, for some reason, we do. I don't know why. Hey, you guys
Because we
got
would
you guys
just
got
look
that one for
weird
free.
without
Say what?
Because we would just look weird without them.
I guess it. Yeah, I mean, of course we're used to it, but yeah, like imagine if like the next generation of men, just suddenly were born without nipples. Like, that would be interesting.
Yeah.
Mm. uh, yeah, let's not go too far down that rabbit hole. um, Mental health. So, so what? So obviously we talked some about diet and nutrition. I've heard that your gut bacteria and like the health of your gut flora is does affect can affects your overall health, but obviously mental health being a part of that. It's like if you eat the wrong foods, you know what I mean?
Right.
Have you heard anything about that?
Well, I used to take these pills with what am I thinking about? Good gut bacteria. I can't remember what they're called.
Oh, probiotics.
Yeah, probiotics. I used to take those. I've got irritable bowel syndrome, and
Oh, you do? I did not know
yeah.
that.
Oh, you didn't know that?
No.
But yeah, had it all my life.
Huh.
But I guess I just don't talk about it a lot. Um, it affects me mostly in the mornings, but then again, that could just be the coffee.
Could be.
But
Typically, I know people with IBS, like there's certain foods, whether it's the alkalinity or the acidity, or whether it's just the food itself that irritates it. Have you found that there's certain foods or drinks that you have to avoid?
oh yeah,
Like,
um,
I think it's gluten for some, which I guess would be borderline celiacs. But like, is there anything particular for you that you have to avoid? Do you find?
well, onions really upset me. Onions and milk.
Huh.
Well, I'm sure there are a lot of other things, but I've definitely noticed those. So I have to avoid a lot of onions, and I especially have to avoid milk. That's why I'm drinking almond milk now. Because if I have a bowl of cereal with, it could be 2% milk, but even that, gonna make me feel like crap all day long.
Is that the lactose? Maybe.
I think so.
Yeah, I know some people are lactose intolerant. Like, um, yeah. Well, almond milk, from what I've heard, it is better for you anyway. For like
Yeah.
for men, it like uh, not not to a huge degree. It's not concentrated, but it does have testosterone. Like, it helps to boost your testosterone. So like almonds do. Um, so like not as great for women. Like for women, from what I've heard, soy milk is better because it gives more of an estrogen boost. Yeah. Again, not a huge one because it's not in concentrated form, but it supports healthy estrogen levels. And almonds supposedly help healthy testosterone levels. In fact, I myself, I drink a lot of almond milk. I drink it in my protein shakes. When I do cereal, I typically do almond milk, and honestly, I like the taste better. I just get. Do you get unsweetened or do you get the sweetened?
Unsweetened.
Yeah, me too, man. Yeah,
But I'm big on well, I don't want to exaggerate, but I understand the importance of gut health. We'll just leave it at that.
good gut. Good gut, man. No.
Ha.
Oh man. Yeah, so we've hit on sleep, hit on gut health, good nutrition. Now I don't follow this one as well as I should. Obviously, an obvious one that don't in terms of its relation to sleep, don't drink coffee too late in the day, like for most people.
Right.
My sister, I have a sister who for some reason it doesn't affect her at all. She can have coffee right before she goes to bed and no effect. But yeah, that's rarely ever been true for me. Um, I have heard that alcohol before bed's not the greatest idea. I'm not entirely sure why. But yeah, I have a harder time following that one. I have to say, is that I like to relax in the evenings, and that can help sometimes. I do wonder how it affects my sleep. I haven't done like an intensive study for myself on it. Do you have a smartwatch?
Nah.
Yeah, I got a like a generic. It's not an Apple watch, but it's like a generic brand from Amazon a couple of years ago. It's still working fine. Like got it for like $30, but it can monitor sleep and it'll tell you. I can't say for sure how accurate it is, but it at least tells me how much sleep I got the night before, how much deep sleep and how much light sleep, how much of that period was I awake. Um, so like that's been helpful to kind of try to gauge are there different habits that seem to support.
Yeah.
Like some nights I'll take melatonin, and that does seem to increase the percentage of deep sleep.
Yeah, I take melatonin sometimes too. I probably should take it more often.
Yeah, me as well. I need to get more regular with that. It does seem to help. I think one of the biggest things that it seems to help with is getting back to sleep. But Will, I'm gonna go put this one in bed. So how about you regale the nerds here for a couple minutes with tales of your life?
Okay. So nerds. I'm gonna wing this. So I don't know about you, but um when I'm sure that the depression I suffer from, which is hereditary from my mother's side, I'm sure that there are a lot of reasons a person could get depression or an anxiety disorder or stressed out that are common to all people, not just nerds and geeks. But and I'm going to talk with Richard about this when he gets back. But I find myself playing video games as a form of therapy. And I don't know if you nerds can relate to that. Oh, Richard's still here. I opened my eyes and had them closed. Hey,
Yeah, I was wondering why you had your eyes closed.
I'm in deep thought.
No, that's cool. That's cool.
So,
Only
yeah, I'm
only the
talking about
subscribers will see this anyway, so don't worry.
gamer therapy. Oh, are they going to see us too?
I was thinking about it. It's like since we're doing it over Zoom, we might as well give them the video version since they're paying for it. You know what I mean? I
Well,
mean,
yeah, that's a good
unless
point.
unless they'd rather pay to not see our faces, which I could understand that. It's like we're paying $3 a month. We don't want to see your faces. just just your lovely dulcet tones, and that's it. Nothing more.
Well, here I am in my work clothes. Just got off work. At least you can't smell me.
This is my work clothes. It's probably reversed on the video. It says "I'm thinking," and it's got the buffering symbol on it. I've gotten some compliments on this shirt. uh,
Right.
so yours says running 5K. Did you run a 5K?
Yeah, this is one of North Point's 5Ks.
Okay.
We didn't have very many. I think we had one year and it was a financial loss and we didn't do it again.
Yeah, it takes a lot, man. I tell you, you got to get sponsors. You got to like, um, my former church does one every year called the Ardmore Raw. So
Cool.
race stands for Race Against Hunger, and yeah, they start working on it like 6 months before it happens. Like with the planning and the promotion and finding sponsors and like all of that. Yeah, it's a lot, but they've raised thousands and thousands of dollars for the Second Harvest Food Bank over the years.
Nice.
So yeah, it's pretty cool. But yeah, it definitely takes a lot of effort to really pull it off. Um, they have a pretty good turnout. Like there's quite a few runners that show up for it. Yeah,
Nice. Speaking of running, that's probably a good way to reduce depression and anxiety.
yeah, you're probably right. Like I know exercise in general, or just making sure you move throughout the day, gives you like what is it, serotonin boost, I believe. If
Yeah.
it does affect energy levels too, I think, and like you said, sleep, like which again, like I do really think sleep is one of the, if not the biggest factor in relation to good mental health. I don't think I'm over exaggerating that. I don't know. What do you think, Will?
Sleep, what's that?
Yeah, yep. So yeah, you're gonna play World of Warcraft after we get off here, right? Or
Um, I've got a buddy that plays World of Warcraft, but I never really got into it myself.
nah, me neither. Never did do the online gaming thing like the RPGs or whatnot. Maybe someday. Like I wouldn't mind trying Star Trek Online. I've heard that's pretty cool. Um, but yeah, for consoles though, man, and we'll pop in a little bit of nerdy pop culture here. Like there's never been, or rarely has there been a good console Star Trek game. I don't know if you've ever noticed that, but yeah, like I want one where like we're going on away missions all the time. We're like on the bridge, like making decisions, like, but instead it's like all of these like strategic, like all you see is the spaceships out in space and you're doing like strategic warfare type stuff. And I'm like, that seems to be what they do every time. And I've heard Star Trek Online might be a little different. I've not tried it yet, but yeah, I kind of bemoan that because there's, compared to Star Wars, by contrast, like you're much more involved, on the ground, boots on the ground, playing as a Jedi or what have you. And yeah, I think there was like a Star Trek away mission game at some point. Maybe there's been more than one, but it seems like they keep repeating the strategic warfare overhead starship. I don't know, man. Anyway, that's
So,
my nerdy pop culture rant for the day.
did, did you ever play the Star Trek game on the Sega Genesis?
I did not. I did not. Was that
Well,
good?
oh, I, it's got some of what you talked about. You put in coordinates, and maybe you'll find an alien planet, and you can send an away team down, and it's you get to play as the away team. I died a lot.
Did you wear a red shirt every time?
I'm pretty sure they all had red. Well, except for Data.
uh Shout out to the red shirt geeks, by the way, Lars, if you're listening. Um, yeah. So that gets me thinking. I think you were talking a little bit about this while I was gone for a minute. You talked about how you use video games like as a, did you say coping mechanism? Is that how you put it?
Like therapy.
Therapy. It's like you find it therapeutic, like kind of the rhythms or the like what type of games would you say you find the most therapeutic?
Well, I mean, I just enjoy playing video games in general. Therapy wise, probably Animal Crossing. I know I
Mm,
played a lot of Animal Crossing during the pandemic, and since my wife Mandy lost her job due to her fibromyalgia, she's been playing a lot of Animal Crossing, and she's not really a gamer, but I got her into Animal Crossing, and she told me without having to discuss it with her that it's kind of like a therapy to her. Um, and I was just asking our nerds earlier if they could relate to that sort of thing.
I feel like Zelda, I feel like a lot of the Zelda games are that way, at least the ones that I've
Yeah,
played. Like there's just, obviously you have fights and stuff, but there's the flow of the game is kind of peaceful. I feel like, at least that's been my experience playing Zelda games. I don't.
what what kind of Zelda games have you played?
I believe I played the one for the Wii, and I can't remember the name of it. Uh, yeah, I'm not a big Zelda gamer, but my sister Catherine in particular is big into it. Shout out to Catherine, by the way. I know she listens to a lot of these episodes. I don't know if she'll be listening to this one, um, but yeah, like it. Yeah, I played. I think it was the first one they released for the Wii back in the day. Was Breath of the Wild? Does that sound right?
No,
No,
uh, probably Twilight Princess.
that's it. That's it. Twilight Princess. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I played that. Played I think Wind Waker on the GameCube, I believe. And dabbled a little bit with the very first Zelda. Like I have a micro Nintendo, the one of
Yeah,
the retro ones, and it has the first two Zeldas. And dabbled a little bit, but honestly, the old style from the '80s where you can't save anything gets kind of frustrating. You die and you just have to keep repeating the level or go back to the beginning. And I'm like,
yeah.
it's a, it's like I don't enjoy the retro games as much for that reason. But anyway, but yeah, no, that's one I think that, but yeah, I think there are some games that are almost very deliberately designed for. In fact, I have one on my Nintendo DS that's quite literally like a meditation game or like a kind of a Zen game, and it has games that are designed to kind of help you get into that mindfulness meditation mode. It's pretty cool, actually. Do you have that one too?
Um, the one on the DS?
Yeah, I think it's just called Zen or something like that.
No,
Oh,
I don't have that one.
Will's
Excuse me.
Will's plugging in his phone here.
Yeah, my
Almost
phone's
done.
about to go dead here soon. Apologies to everybody who can see this.
We're getting a good look at Will's nostrils. No. Flare them well. Flare them well. I think mine are much bigger. Yeah.
There we
Um,
go.
so getting back to the topic of what kind of, I mean, what we do for a podcast, like watching content, like whether it's watching TV or watching movies. I feel like I've been mindful of this for myself for a long time. I realize like I can kind of go down the rabbit hole, much like social media, where sometimes it happened to me earlier today. Like I got stuck in a Instagram scrolling black hole. I got sucked into the black hole. I think it was like 20, 30 minutes of just like, yeah, it's like, and it is legitimately addictive, I think. But like with streaming now, there's just so many choices, and you find a series that grabs you. It's like if it's been out for a while, you can just go binge it. And now obviously I have enough other people in my life and in my home that gets interrupted. I can't just go do that like I
Yeah.
used to. But I know when I was younger, before I had kids, you know, back in our heyday of singleness, you know, yeah, that was more of a problem. Like, and that definitely I think fed my depression. Like spending too much time is like it was an escape and not in a good way from reality. So honestly, in regards to our podcast, I've even wondered at times, like, is it good to do a podcast about this? Would it be better to do something more active in a sense? Like, and so I'm like mindful of that even in how we consume content for this medium, for us to talk about. I guess there's a sense in which we're actively engaging with it more since we're producing a podcast about it, and we're, so that's like a different level than just mindlessly sitting there for hours. We're consuming for a purpose. So that does feel a little healthier, but I don't know. Have you thought about that any in general, or just, or perhaps in relation to what we do with the nerds here, the Reverend Nerds?
Well, I'm not sure about how it affects my mental health, but I admit that there are times when, um, we just consume so much entertainment for the podcast that sometimes they get kind of tired of consuming entertainment.
Yeah.
Uh, and there are times that we review things that I wouldn't normally watch, or I thought was good but wouldn't continue watching after the we our initial review of it. So there's some entertainment that I digest or consume that I wouldn't normally. Uh, like the animes we do, I really like My Hero Academia. I admit I got out of it. I've been trying to pick it back up again, but just having a hard time getting back into it. But there's been some other animes that we watched that I could take or leave. They were good, but I just digest so much entertainment already as it is. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. I don't know. I'm rambling.
Yeah, like I watch more than I think I should. Like uh I try to balance that some with reading, and I've definitely gotten more in the habit of reading over the last few years. Like the first, and some of this, honestly, from what I've heard from other parents, like the first few years of parenting, like I've known other parents who are like, you don't have the energy to do much else than just sit down sometimes and watch Netflix with your wife or your husband, or your partner. Like, you're just exhausted from taking care of the kids, and you're just like, you just want to like kind of zone out. And in a sense, like, especially when you find a show like a Ted Lasso, or a New Girl, or just something, um I don't know. Well, maybe not as much New Girl. I don't know if those are people I would necessarily actually hang out with in real life. Oh, because they're a little crazy, which is kind of the point. I mean, it's definitely an over the top version of life, but that's part of the comedy in that particular show. But Ted Lasso, the people there are definitely, they're just very down to earth, like real, very feel very real. The people there in a lot of ways, and those are people that some of them, that I would hang out with. So there's a sense in which, because you're watching another human, albeit on the other side of a screen, which is kind of what we're doing right now, you are in a sense building a relationship, like a type of relationship, which I guess is why when there's a longer series or like a series of movies, like in the MCU, that we do get attached to these characters. And I do think about that
Yeah.
aspect. I have for a long time, honestly, like going way back. And honestly, it's something I credit my parents for, my dad in particular. Like, but my parents were very conscious in the choices that they made, like what they allowed us kids to consume. And then as I got older, I can't speak for my sisters, but I know as I got older, um, my dad would make effort to talk to us about like different themes or philosophies or things like that, be it in Star Trek, Star Wars, what have you. Um, so there was more of a conscious effort to think about, like, hey, what am I consuming? And I'm actually grateful for that. Like,
Hmm.
um,
Cool, cool, cool.
it's like there is that is something I think about. It's like are these people, like, if I, like, I have a tendency sometimes to get it's I get in a certain mood where I want to watch things that are very dark. Like I'll watch a horror series, or like a true crime series or something, like, I don't know if it's this like thing where it's like, hey, their life is scarier or worse than mine, so like maybe mine's not that bad. I don't know. I don't know what exactly it is. It seems to be a pretty common fascination with people because those kind of shows are very popular. But I find if I go down that rabbit hole too much, it puts me in a very dark mood and can feed my depression sometimes. So I have to ask myself, like, would I hang out with these people on a regular basis? Like, um, or do I really want to be putting myself virtually into this scenario on a regular basis? Like, is that healthy for my mental health? Um, and and that's where, like, say when we haven't dove too much into things like that, be it horror or true crime. I don't think we've done any like really true crime for this podcast yet.
No.
That is a genre that I enjoy. If it's a good mystery, you know what I mean. Um, but yeah, but I do wonder. Like sometimes I go too far down that rabbit hole, and it's not healthy, and I have to pull myself back out. Um, but Will, let's see, we're coming up on 30 seconds here on our Zoom recording. So thanks for, well, you're my co-host, but yeah, thanks for joining me for this bonus episode. Subscribers, thanks for listening, and thank you so much for subscribing and for your support for our podcast. So we'll drop another one here. I'm gonna try to drop a couple this week, and we'll try to get in the swing of things again for these bonus episodes, so that we are delivering on what we said we would do, or what I said we would do. um. Anyway, thanks, nerds. Sayonara.
Sayonara.
Sayonara. I stole your line this time. Live long, live long and prosper.
Live long and prosper.
Sayonara.
May the force be with you, Gandalf.
You shall not pass.